Blessed be my witches, my spiritualists, and welcome to another episode of Witch Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today we are going to be making, it's kind of ancestor water, and it can be used for that, but it also can be used for when giving blessings when somebody has passed away. It's always good to have this, and it doesn't go rancid, so it's very, very good to be able to keep in your pantry that will allow you to be able to use this anytime a blessing needs to be done. I also use my ancestor water when it comes to working with the ancestors, when new babies are being born. I have a tendency to utilize the powers of this mixture. So we don't have to go into all the semantics here. Let's just get right down to making this ancestor water. So the first thing you're going to need is you are going to need camphor. Okay, and camphor has been long associated with the ancestors. It's great for being able to create a vibration for them to be able to commune with you. It's very powerful with cleansing a space and allowing them to be able to be in that space with you. Camphor is also great when it comes to keeping away any negative energies or vibrations that are around you. I don't know about you witches, but when my ancestors are with me, and they always are with me, I always want to be able to keep my space to be filled with love and understanding, and even some of the ones that have passed that I didn't necessarily have the best relationship with in this carnation. It allows me to not view them in the way that they were in this existence with their limited resources and understanding of the whole. So I like to be able to utilize the power of camphor within this ritual and working. The next thing I'm going to use are bay leaves, okay? Bay leaves are great when it comes to overcoming. It is great when it comes to success. It is great when it comes to connection. It is great when it comes to family. It is great when it comes to so many different variables when it comes to your family, your bloodline, your lineage. So I like to be able to bring that bay in to really emphasize on not just this carnation that I'm in, but the carnations that I've shared with my family throughout time. And that's a very, very powerful thing. And bay helps facilitate that connection, that understanding, and to allow for you to be able to truly feel your ancestors in every fiber of your being. Star anise is very powerful when it comes to taking action and movement, okay? It is wonderful when it comes to being able to bring in that warm home feeling, that warm family feeling. Anise is also wonderful when it comes to being able to share, give and take, communication with your ancestors. So I really like to be able to bring in that variable as well. And this is star anise, y'all. Okay, and star anise has its wonderful power when it comes to understanding the cosmos, understanding the universe, understanding the universal consciousnesses and all the variables that come along with the little parts that make up the whole. And anise is very, very good for facilitating that. You're also going to need a spoon, a heat-proof glass, a master bottle, a shot glass, and spirits of your choosing. Now I am using some Irish whiskey and some spiced rum. Now the reason why I'm using the Irish whiskey and the spiced rum is because both parts of my lineage, okay? There's many more parts of my lineage, but these are two parts of my lineage, and I love to be able to honor them in that way. So it's very, very powerful, and that is one of the reasons why I love to use these two together. Now I want you to know that any spirits, okay, will work. Everything except for beer. You don't want to use beer or wines in this. You could use wines, but beers, I really wouldn't go for that. You want to go with more high alcohol, high proof alcohol. If you wanted to use something like a tequila, you could use that. If you wanted to use something like a brandy, you could use that. If you wanted to use a vodka, you could use that. There's so many different variables that you can use on this. Really, what did your ancestors like to drink? What do you remember them liking to drink? And if they weren't drinkers, then what do you like to drink when it comes to the spirit content? And add that because they're part of you, right? We all share the same DNA. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our camphor, okay? And we are going to bless it and place it into this Pyrex measuring bowl. I'm just going to take it out of its little container here, put it right in the middle of my hand, and we're going to bless it. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're just going to drop that camphor right into the bottom. Now, if you do not want to use an alcohol in here, you can use a distilled water, okay? I like to put the alcohol in because the distilled water can go rancid at times. And you can actually use that to help understand whether or not there's too much negativity going on around you. So you can use the distilled water as well. I prefer to use the alcohol. So I'm just going to pour this in halfway. And I am going to stir this up, going clockwise, letting it dissolve. So that is wonderful. We got the camphor starting to dissolve in here. We got the smell. It is spectacular. Now again, y'all, please understand that if the camphor doesn't all powder itself down or dissolve into the water, that's perfectly fine. It will over time, okay? The main thing here is getting the vibrations into this Ancestor water. Some bay leaves. I'm gonna grab a whole bunch of them here. Is that enough? Yeah. An addition that you can use to this mixture as well. You can use an angelica root if you would like to. Now, I would normally use that if I am working on any fundamental things that need to be transformed within my reality. Any past traumas from my lineage or whatnot, then I would use an angelica root for that, or even a calamus root for that. So you can add that in this as well, or even a dandelion root would be good for that. So we're going to bless this, and we are going to add it to our mixture. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just break this up again. We don't have to powder it up, we're just going to break it up a little bit. And we're going to add this into our warm water. So we're going to stick that in. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add in our star anise. I'm going to take quite a bit of the star anise. And we are going to bless this as well to be able to bring that warming and that communication of the ancestors with us on this reality. Remember, we're making this for new babies that are coming into this reality, or people who are leaving this reality. And we want our ancestors to be with them just before they enter this reality and to greet them on the other side. Right? So this is a very powerful way of doing it, and this is why we want to be able to make sure that there is very strong and effective communication in these workings, so that you're not waiting at the train station of the worlds alone. So now we're just going to break this up here, and we are going to put this directly into our mixture here, into our boiling water. Okay, so I actually just went and put the water on again to get hotter, and now we're going to do the next part. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a full shot glass. Now this is my skull shot glass here, of whatever liquor you are going to be using. Now I like to use 2, so I'm going to put in 2 shots. I recommend you put in 2 shots as well. As above, so below, my witches. And it smells right. Now we're going to add in and go up to the amount that we are going to be needing. So I know that this container is 2 cups. So I'm going to be making 2 cups of this. Okay. So now I am going to bless this whole mixture, And then I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just stirring it and feeling it, feeling the connection, building that connection and that energy in this ancestor water. All right, so now I'm just going to go into a reflective state. I'm going to look into the water and I'm going to stir this. Now you might find that some of you may actually start to belch or you may get gassy when you're doing this. What this means is that if there's any blocks that are going on when it comes to your ancestors or any traumas or whatnot that you may have had that you're having a hard time letting go of or whatnot, that belching or that gassy or expelling wind actually is a way for your DNA to be able to start removing some of those blocks. And it's really quite good. It also, when belching or expelling wind, it also can protect you from a lot of negative energy as well. So when you are working with your ancestors, it's normally a breaking and a releasal of anything that is blocking that connection. However, if you're going into a house and you're doing a cleanse or something along those lines, and you start to belch, that would represent also a protecting of the self. Your ancestors are the first ones to protect you. So this is a very powerful statement if you actually think about it, because what you're learning here is that motion of expelling wind or belching is a protective part of who you are. And a lot of that protection does come from the ancestors. All right. So now that I have stirred this, we are going to move on to the final part. And that is adding it to our master bottle. So I have here a funnel and a sieve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to endeavor to actually get this in without spilling it, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so there you have it, my witches, my spiritualists. This is your ancestor water. And if you can smell this, oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now I have a little bit left here, and I also have all the botanicals. So what I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to place this on my altar, okay? And I am going to leave that there until I feel it is time to take this off, okay? And what I'm going to do with these parts here, I'm going to bring it to the ocean. Or I'm going to bring it to a body of water and I'm going to dispose of it there. It is part of our family. It is a part of us. We are majority water. So I'm basically sending it back home. Now, what can you do with your ancestor water? Well, your ancestor water can be placed on your altar as offerings to the ancestors. I actually use this when I'm doing any kind of blessings for babies who have coming into this reality or people who are leaving. This is a very, very powerful way to be able to have your ancestors present in what you're doing. And I highly recommend making this. The ingredients are very, very simple, y'all. Anybody can do it, and it's wonderful to have in your magical repertoire. Remember, you're only limited to your own imagination on what you can do with this. I have used this for Papa Legba before. I've used this for Grand Bridget. I've used this for so many different variables because I want my ancestors to be a part of everything that I am and everything that I do. They are a part of everything that I am and everything that I do, and I want to honor that. And that's why I use my ancestor water. Now, I also want to share a little story with you before we go, my witches, my spiritualist. I was doing this at one point in time, and I really wasn't paying attention. I was kind of in it, but I kind of wasn't in it. And I started to pour this hot water into my master bottle, and my master bottle exploded. And it was my ancestors saying, yo, if you're going to do this, you pay attention. Don't do a half-assed job here. And it was very powerful for me. So I always want to take that time and that energy and put it in here because you're putting hot water. I will never use Pyrex for the master bottle. I will use it for when I'm mixing things, but the master bottle will not be heat resistant. If it's gonna blow, it's telling me something, and I'm going to honor what's being said. This one didn't blow. The ancestors are so excited that you're all here, my witches, my spiritualists. And there you have your ancestor water. Now remember, if you have not pressed subscribe, you know you need to press subscribe, join the Witch Please family, and do not miss out on a thing. You can follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, as well as Facebook. You can always send me a personal email at witchpleaseofficial@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment below. Don't forget to press that bell icon, because you know you want to get notified when a new video comes out, because you don't want to miss a thing, boo-boos. And don't forget, we do have our Patreon account that you can subscribe to, and it supports me in being able to do what I do. For less than a Starbucks coffee a day, you get a month's worth of access to our content that we are working on building. It's a slow process, honey, but we're working our butts off to do it for y'all. I've said it before, my witches, and I will say it again. It is a pleasure to have you in my world. It is an honor to have you in my magic. And you are always in my heart. I will see you again on another episode of Witch Please. I love you, boo-boo.